What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I wanted to switch gears a little bit. Drake's new Nokia video, either trolling or biting Kendrick Lamar's video. So let's run it.
There is one of the most embarrassing things he has ever done in his entire career, and I am serious because really, with Drake's new Nokia music video, after trying to use this song, what it will represent, and this entire moment to start a shift and turning point in his career, where altogether Drake will finally start to win back what Kendrick Lamar has taken away from him and try to reclaim anything that he used to represent. Well, somehow in this moment where Drake did everything he possibly could to diss Kendrick Lamar in this video, all he actually ended up achieving is showing once and for all that there is one king in rap and that it will never be him. And now, before we go any further into all of this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, as the Drake fans are getting more annoying than ever because of all of this, really be sure to leave that like so everyone can hear how, even with the most calculated effort from Drake and Ack, they are still about to take another massive loss. And so, now with all that said, when it comes to Drake and the Nokia video, with this being Drake's big musical play to start off this new chapter in his career and this moment where both as a rapper and in terms of the narrative he wanted to get back control of everything. I mean, with what is a major statement just from the stakes of it all, what we definitely saw over everything else was the type of creative that Drake is in this time. Which is not a good one, but let me slow down. As after Kendrick Lamar's all time great run, and after events like the Super Bowl or the Grammy winning Not Like Us video, with Drake responding to all of the visual symbolism and disses with straight up knockoff copies of Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free's visual imagery, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up if you tried. And I don't know who on Drake's team told him to do this because, with all of the obvious callbacks to what Kendrick has done, I mean, while Drake thought he was getting disses off, he really just ends up taking another all time pathetic title in hip hop as he turns into the first rapper who got embarrassed so bad that really now he wants to be the guy who has humiliated and really ended his career. And of course, with all of this, the major problem is it gets to a point here where it doesn't even seem like you are dissing him back, but it just starts to look like you are copying him because you have no ideas. Because really, with how many story beats that Drake copied from Not Like Us, which no matter what you want to say, from getting SGA here, which feels just like DeMar DeRozan being in Not Like Us,
It
and
is.
because of the placement and how Drake spends every single second of this thing copying Kendrick pretty much, despite the actual connection that Drake and SGA have because of where they are from, it still feels so forced because every single thing here is a knockoff of what Kendrick did to other big choreographed scenes, which also
It
mirror the
does appear
Super
that
Bowl
way.
as well. I mean, it is just so obvious what Drake was doing here that it loses any sort of nuance or complexity that it had. And really, that whole owl thing, which Drake fans think he has now won the beef over, and once again think that Drake is a mastermind for trying to up Kendrick's visual from Not Like Us there, ultimately, any of the storytelling or progression that would come with that means absolutely nothing, because just like with this entire moment we are seeing now, there's no build up to make any of this feel like it was earned or like it's this really smart and genius move that is going to win him anything back. And beyond the disses themselves, I don't understand how Drake even thought doing all of this was a good idea. Because really, beyond all of these embarrassing Kendrick Lamar imitations, just in terms of the fact that Drake is trying to prove that the disses from these very songs he is copying ruined his career in the paperwork that he is so into pushing and pushing right now, I mean, as he is once again using his art to do the same thing that he is saying Kendrick did to end his career, beyond just the video, he is really making the thing he cares about more than anything else just look like more and more of something he is trying to trick us with. And when we look at this moment from all these angles, it's hard to even take Drake seriously one bit because everything he seems like he's doing is just an absolute joke. And when it comes to the whole narrative that Kendrick is using the beef to get attention still to this day, people on Drake's side can never use that again because we have never seen a more desperate and petty use of this beef than right within this video. And really what Drake is showing is that he has lost so much and that he is so bored of everything he has done because maybe he's even realized that it's bad, that the only thing interesting he can talk about is the Kendrick beef. But what's really so baffling with this is that Drake took the last song he had a chance to become something bigger than this entire back and forth, and instead of trying to win fans back, all he has done is tie the song back to the beef and Kendrick Lamar with this awful rip of the Not Like Us video, really. And I
I'm glad he said that. I was very confused by this video when I watched it because it's been a year. Why are we still going back and forth with Kendrick? I feel like you should have just continuing on with your career. You said you had the bops coming for the summer. You said you had some slaps for the summer. I was kind of hoping that Nokia was the start of that. I kind of like the song. I'm not mad at it. I don't see why Drake is. I don't think he's trolling. I think he is trolling, actually. I do think Drake is trolling, but I don't see why. Like, just keep your career moving.
I think this move is going to be looked back on as one of the most embarrassing moves from Drake and one of the most confusing because he is really showing how he is a joke artist with no creative skill. And compared to his last videos, seeing how he has changed from using gimmicks to now copying Kendrick Lamar, it is just not a good look and really shows how Kendrick has this man in shambles. But still, even with that, when it comes to Drake dragging this song into the beef, while the Nokia video has missed as an artistic statement and a winning play from Drake, it has kind of done something, and we are about to see the full and annoying impact of this move more and more. Because all in all, when it comes to Drake's plan to just become the absolute worst thing we have ever seen in hip hop, and overall this goal that Drake has to just try and discredit Kendrick after everything he has done, Nokia has created an anthem for the losers of rap that is being fully pushed by Drake to gather around the delusion that is coming from his entire crew and fan base, and from all of the weird Kendrick taunts to just the fact that now it looks like Drake is trying to make this record bigger and bigger. He is bringing his fan base to a place where they are all behind him, and now that he has this support, with this bigger plan he has, which more than just the song itself, with both what him and Ak just did. In terms of just annoying everybody's timelines with the most ridiculous things, they have done it, which really accomplishing any of their goals is a first, and for them, they really have managed to just take over the entire hip-hop world and everything around them with the most loud and obnoxious discourse. And now when it comes to this storm that Drake and Ak have created, well, Nokia is the moment that they wanted to win everyone back with, although it's really only done the opposite with how embarrassing it is. Everything started here with Ak's interview with Ye, and now while I will not be showing any of the clips from this disaster for obvious reasons, because we just can't show any of that, with Ak running to Ye, and from the time Ye opened that door to when they just spoke back and forth while Ye stood up and Ak just awkwardly and nervously looked at him, with this moment that if you showed somebody even just a few years ago, they would be baffled by what they were looking at, Ak did what he does best here, which was use this all-time low moment from Ye, and not just give him an interview and space to start even more problems, but for what matters to Ak and the center of hip-hop right now, Ak asked the perfect set of questions to Ye to make sure that he said everything he needed so that they had all the narratives they could ever want to take down Kendrick Lamar, and at the same time give Drake more credit than any other rapper has given him since the beef. And now with all of these comments, which there are so many that it was really even hard to keep track of, over everything else what we can definitively say is that both Ye and Ak were really lighting up when they were saying awful things about Kendrick. And from Ye saying that Kendrick Lamar is an industry puppet and he was chosen by the labels to take down Drake with Not Like Us, and that ultimately with the entire era we have seen that he has been used by the industry, and altogether with this and with Kendrick being seen as the king of hip-hop, Ye admitted that he is jealous at him because nobody can be number one because he is in his own eyes, to Ye also saying that Drake is 1,000,000 times better than Kendrick and more important than he will ever be, and then saying that when it comes to where he stands with Drake himself, after Ak tried to get the truth to just show Drake fans and OVO once and for all that they are all on the same side, Ye did exactly what he needed to here, as when describing where he stands with the guy, Ye said that Drake is like a family member who you don't mess with, but despite all their beef, he explained how they are not that different and that they are having some of the same problems, as during this rant where he was telling Ak that the industry is trying to ruin him and that they want him to fail more than anybody else, he made it very clear to tell the audience that they are doing the exact same thing to Drake, and that in his eyes this whole beef was awful for him to watch because of this very reason. And of course, by going on this rant where he was really defending Drake whether he realized it or not, he ended up dissing Kendrick even more by saying something like, why do they want somebody with no hits like Kendrick to do the Super Bowl? And so all together with this rambling, with the way Ye and Ak made such a focal point to discredit Kendrick Lamar while aligning him with the industry, and on the flip side of this, by trying to align Ye and Drake as these victims of the machine who were being ruined by them, and with the overarching point that Ye drove home, which was really warning Axe fans and Drake fans that for playing on this side of the matrix that Ye thinks he is so brave for being on, that because Drake is a part of this same group, he will one day be looked at like him. When we really put this interview into perspective, What Ack created here was a friendship with Ye, which he is talking about in his commentary for the interview, and he is saying that they are very close and they are talking behind the scenes, which should also tell you everything you need to know. And also with this and in the greater picture of this entire interview, Ack got every single thing he needed from Ye to make sure that Drake has never had more support in this time where he is trying to make a comeback as an artist, and he is trying to win over fans and make the industry look like they are the problem and not him. And again, when it comes to this side of hip hop actually understanding how to create the problems that they want to, I mean, they were actually finally able to somewhat successfully do something, although it is the most annoying and disrespectful thing you could do to discredit hip hop as an art form. As now with this interview, they have really brought together the entire community of defenders and people who think that there is always some grand plot and theory behind everything, all under the pretense to think that Drake is really on the right side of things and that he is trying to stand against the industry just like Kanye is right now before it is too late. And as Ye kept making such a focal point in this interview to explain how this entire rap beef was put in place by the industry so that Not Like Us could be used in the future to end Drake's career like other disgraced artists with troubled backgrounds have been already. Again, while most people are not giving any mind to Ye's now admitted jealousy to Kendrick and now shared anger with Drake, to both the Ye and Drake fans and all the other people who don't want to be real about reality, they are looking at this as an eye-opening moment for them that is just making the entire community around Drake more delusional than ever specifically, which again, we are already seeing the direct impact of that on the timeline, which has never been more annoying, and all together with all this combined delusion is making them see this beef and a song like Not Like Us as not just a great moment in rap beef that changed everything, but as this pre-planned effort from the industry that was made to end Drake purposefully. And with Ye going on tangents and sharing theories that he believes about the music industry, which includes such things that labels and the NFL are taking down big artists like Drake and letting these quote unquote smaller artists like Kendrick have these bigger moments so they can control the artist more. Which again, while we can't show anything, the way Kanye explained this is really one of the most crazy things I have ever heard. And beyond that, this whole small artist narrative they are trying to push on Kendrick is literally ridiculous considering that he has some of the most successful rap albums, songs, and moments of all time. But aside from that, as we are in an era where there is no nuance to everything, people are instantly believing the things Ye is saying, and the Drake community is now using this guy as their spokesperson, which in of itself should just show you how far gone they are. And so from here on out, from the desperate people who are supporting Ye to all of the angry people who just want Drake to be right, now unfortunately for us, we are going to have to deal with them using the talking points and
That
really
dance is
groundwork that
corny,
has been
boy.
laid out by Ye in this very interview more than anything to try and discredit Kendrick going forward and keep painting this picture that Drake has been wronged by the industry and that this entire beef was a crazy plot to end his career and not just him not being prepared and failing within a musical back and forth. And so all together with this victim mentality of Drake being pushed to the highest level, and now with all of these desperate communities wanting these failing artists and names just to be a little right or get some sort of a win, I mean, we are already seeing it now. Things are really about to get more annoying than ever in hip hop because really in this time, with what Ack has done, he has connected the two biggest names in rap whose careers are on the downfall, and so now right alongside these narratives that are being pushed, what Drake and the guys around him have made sure is coming right alongside the most annoying and obnoxious effort to take down Kendrick Lamar's success and victory in this time than ever, is actual music on Drake's end, and not just an album like we saw with SSS For You, which had 20 songs that pretty much came and went. But now Drake is trying to create an anthem with the one song that people and really his desperate fan base are pushing to be a major #1 song with Nokia. And now after this track has been trying to stay around the top 10 of the charts for so long, now Drake has created his grand plan to do everything he possibly can to make sure that this record goes #1. Now he is releasing a full-fledged music video for the track, and with this he is trying to give the record all the support it needs to be everywhere and so it can reach that #1 spot once and for all. And really with this video now reaffirming all of the annoying things Drake is doing, in this time where Drake is building his victim complex and with Ye's comments which are directed by Ack, and even on top of this with his suit which is building up, altogether, Drake has never put on a better act to try and convince his fans and everybody else that he is really a victim in the industry who has been wronged by them. And now with this record, beyond all of the misdirected anger that this entire community keeps throwing around as they crash out more and more about Kendrick Lamar and the rest of the rap game's success, Now with Nokia being a song that is fully being pushed by Drake, OVO created the best vehicle they have since the entire beef to bring this entire group of people together and to try and push Drake back to the forefront of hip hop and not just bring him back into the conversation of respected rappers, but even more laughable than that, they are trying to flip the script and make Drake look like the hero as he is defeating the industry with all of this. And again, while to everyone who has seen what has happened and now the reality of how this beef has went, this just looks like an absolute joke. And it's actually almost disrespectful that they are trying to change narratives like this. To all the losing parties who want to drag this beef out and try to change its outcome, whether it's Drake, Ack, or Ye, or any of the desperate people around them. With all of the noise from the narratives to the music coming out, which is all just trying to make everything we have seen about Kendrick and Drake and the success and failure of both artists illegitimate. Now, for the first time since Drake's entire career falling apart, the effort they have is somewhat organized, and with the energy that is now not just coming from Drake and Ack, but also someone like Ye, who no matter how bad of a place his career is in, I mean, people are still lining up to hear what he has to say. I mean, overall, this entire group is now in motion and trying to trick everyone into thinking that they are the heroes in the story of hip hop and that everything they are telling us is right. Meanwhile, in actuality, all these artists and people are just jealous that their own decisions have gotten them to their respective points of failure, and now there is no turning back. And so, all together with this, while Drake and Ack, and with the help of Ye, have started what they really want to be another round of beef within a much different way, and despite the combined delusion all these people have, these efforts are just never going to change what has happened in hip hop and what Kendrick Lamar is standing for. And no matter how much they annoy everyone, none of this is going to change or take away the real impact that we have all seen from real greatness. And so now, with all of this said, let me know. First off, let me know if you think the Nokia video is the worst video we have seen in hip hop recently, because the more I think about it, at the very least, I do think this is one of the weirdest things we have seen in so long. And after that, also be sure to let me know. What do you think about what we have just witnessed from Ack, Drake, and Ye? And what do you think about this wild interview we have gotten from Big Ack and the music video from Drake and all together? Where do you think all of this is going to go, and how far and annoying will this side of hip hop get before Kendrick just ends any sort of conversations they're even trying to get off right now again? Now, I really can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this. And now,
I'll start with the video would be okay if Not Like Us wasn't a video first. I'm really trying to think and figure out why Drake is continuing this. Why is he trying to continue this beef when he's in court? He's suing right now. We're in the month of April. I'm not sure the outcome of any of that. I haven't been paying attention, but I will. He's in court with UMG still about all of this. Clearly not liked anything that's been going on with Kendrick. Yeah, I'm not understand. I mean, I get that you're trolling him. I get that you want to make fun of him. I get all that. I just don't get why he's still doing it. That's what very confused about that. I'm very confused. But maybe if I have to, maybe he's doing this for court purposes. Maybe he's trying to provoke Kendrick some more to keep bringing stuff to court, to keep bringing up stuff to the judge or whatever. Yeah, this is going to keep unfolding. This video just came out, so I guess we'll see what his next move is, but I was really hoping Drake would I was hoping he would move past this by now, and we were going to see what the OVO 2025 summer was going to be like, but we're getting more cornball stuff from the cornball, so I'm not surprised. I've been J Stat. That ain't this. Peace.